This is WFYI News Now. It's June 2nd, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, parents say changes made by the Indiana FSSA left families without critical services. Purdue University is closing its Office of Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging. And the federal government tests a new way to recycle rare earth minerals from consumer electronics in Indianapolis.
As we import the majority of it out of Asia, if we can make it here in America, we'll get more people to manufacture here.
Those stories coming up. But first, the Indiana Pacers are going to the NBA Finals. As the final buzzer went off Saturday night, the deafening roar of thousands of fans filled the arena as the Pacers defeated the New York Knicks 125-108. It's been 25 years since the Pacers won the Eastern Conference Finals. The NBA Finals tip-off is this Thursday in Oklahoma City, where the Pacers will play against Western Conference champions OKC Thunder. Parents of medically complex children say the changes made by the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration following the 2023 Medicaid forecasting error left families without critical services. As Indiana Public Broadcasting's Abigail Ruman reports, a new state law requires the agency to present a public report on changes to the state's Medicaid waivers prior to seeking federal approval.
The report has to include information on any changes to the structured family caregiving program or possible reimbursement for family caregivers providing attendant care. Luke Davis's daughter, Talibeth, had a rare form of congenital muscular dystrophy before she died in 2024. Davis's wife acted as her caregiver through the attendant care program before FSSA announced parents no longer could, following the $1 billion forecasting error. If they didn't have that option, Davis said Talibeth would have been in the hospital more, meaning the family would have been separated more than it already was.
There was times that I couldn't even go. I had to go to work. We had to make bills.
Davis says now many families don't have access to a critical service through Medicaid for their children. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Abigail Ruman.
FSSA is not required to take any action on either attendant care or the structured family caregiving program. Purdue University is closing its Office of Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging. The university announced new measures to limit DEI initiatives and activities on the West Lafayette campus in a Friday statement. University leaders say the move to close the office is directly related to policy changes and pressures at both the state and federal level. Staff who work in the DEI office will be allowed to interview for open positions at Purdue. The university says cultural centers like the Black Cultural Center will remain open but must serve all students. And for our final story today, the U.S. Department of Energy is testing out a new way to recycle rare earth minerals from consumer electronics in Indianapolis. As WFYI's Ben Thorpe reports, RecycleForce is the first test site in the country for a recycling method experts hope will reduce U.S. reliance on foreign materials.
Currently, the rare earth minerals found in hard drives, cell phones, and other consumer electronics don't get recycled, often ending up in landfills. Ikenna Liebedeem is a research scientist with the Department of Energy. He says they hope to change that.
What we need to do is to look for a way to strengthen our supply chain, and that is really what we're trying to do here.
John Ford is with Indiana's Office of Energy Development. He says the project will study how effective the new technology is for recovering rare earth minerals.
As we import the majority of it out of Asia, if we can make it here in America, we'll get more people to manufacture here.
Over the next 6 months, RecycleForce will test out the new technology and provide data to the Department of Energy. I'm Ben Thorpe.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.